A very warm welcome to Christian sir and Harshvinder sir. So let me just introduce you to our panelists for today. Mr. Christian sir is a biotech entrepreneur, business angel, and managing director at the Biomed X Institute in Heidelberg, Germany. He studied molecular biology and received his doctoral degree from the University of Heidelberg. Throughout his entire professional life, his focus has always been to foster innovation at the interface between academia and industry. We welcome you on the show, sir. And another major thing, he got a Tesla. That is one of his another achievement.
Thank you very
Talking
much.
about Harshvinder Singh, sir, now he is the managing director, is a master's in computer applications, and as an MBA, has a total of 22 plus years experience, including software development and implementation and data processing in Punjab, Tractors Limited, and Drish Shoes Limited. He has been involved in designing local area networks, system designing, and implementing various business applications. Currently, he heads the overall operations of the company with a focus on business development. I again welcome you both on the session, and the podium is all yours now.
Thank you, Ankur. As you rightly said, we were discussing about the brand new Tesla that he's got with the red color. So if he was here, he would have definitely painted our town red. But going from red to med, he heads and he's founded Biomed X Institute. In India, when we talk of institute, it's a standard process. You get in through an entrance, there's a standard curriculum, you look for a job, or if you are differently made, you look for some entrepreneurship or whatever. But knowing you and knowing your work, I know Biomed X is superbly different. I won't say totally different. Why I chose the word superbly, because I would really like you to tell us for a few minutes, what is Biomed X?
Thank you so much, dear Harshvir. Biomed X, to put it in simple words, is at the interface between academia and industry, and we're combining the best of the two worlds. So we're trying to capture outstanding young academic research talents from around the world who are very creative, who have lots of ideas, but who do not really know how to translate this knowledge into something that in the end will be a new medicine and help patients. And this is what we combine at Biomed X with industry know-how, where these young fellows learn how to really develop new medicines, new therapeutic concepts, how to validate them properly in a way that in the end they will enter the clinic and then help patients. So we're combining these two worlds. And it's also an institute which is very much focused on developing young talent. So normally when we start a new project, we post a very challenging problem of the pharmaceutical industry, a research problem worldwide at the best universities and research institutions, and invite young academic scientists to apply by submitting a very original project proposal online, how to solve the problem. And usually we get between 200 and 600 proposals, lots of them actually from Indians. And then we select the 15 best ones and fly them in for a 5-day boot camp in Heidelberg, where I'm based. So it's for the people online, it's not Hyderabad. I'm always asked, Heidelberg, oh nice, you're from India. It's not Hyderabad, it's Heidelberg in Germany. And then we have in Heidelberg, we have this boot camp where we don't let them sleep for 4 nights. They see each other for the first time. And we help them to convert this collection of crazy ideas into something we would call a truly outstanding research project proposal. And then the winner gets a research grant of, on average, $1 million per year for up to 5 years. And then we relocate these talents with their families to Heidelberg, where they then spend up to 5 years in my institute on the campus of one of the major universities in Germany.
So when you source such talent from worldwide, I mean, in the last 1 year, I'm sure your capacity is 100% full, but is it physical or you kind of, how do they merge together,
Very good question, Harshvir. So as for all of us, this pandemic has put a lot of problems on our shoulders as entrepreneurs. And especially in an institute like Biomed X, where we focus on innovation, and innovation is something which only happens when people sit together physically, right? They discuss ideas over lunch, over dinner, at the bar, doing social activities. And of course, this is very challenging in times of the coronavirus. So the way we've managed, my background, as you've heard in the beginning, my background is virology. So I saw this coming more or less already in February last year. You can go back to one of my tweets, and actually when this just escaped from Wuhan, I tweeted that this will be the biggest challenge for humanity, which we've ever experienced. And this is actually what happened later on, very sadly. And so we started moving our laboratory instruments already in March in a way that only fewer people are in the same room at the same time. We introduced shift work. Everybody needs to wear masks since last February, March. We're testing people multiple times a week. And as a result, we didn't really had to shut down our laboratory activities for a single day, even during lockdowns. And what's of course challenging is these boot camps, because in these boot camps, we generate new ideas and people are flying in from all around the world. And we were a little reluctant with boot camps last year, but we need to continue our business. So just last week, we had the first boot camp during the pandemic. We're still in a lockdown in Germany. So only very essential business travel is possible. And we've really managed to fly in. I'm very proud of this. My team has flown in 13 of the 15 participants from all parts of the world. People from India, from Pakistan, from the United States, coming from everywhere. It was a lot of effort with all these embassies to get the visa, then to get the special permits, to get them tested, to get them on site, and make sure they get tested when they return, and daily tests on site, special permit for the hotel where we did the events. The police knew about it, so it was very complicated, but it worked. So, and there was only 2 people who took part from remote. And so we put cameras everywhere so that they felt like they were part of the group. And it worked. This hybrid format worked very well, actually. I didn't expect that.
Actually, I purposefully asked this question because to come to the first question related to the topic for today, that in this kind of digital world, or like you said, hybrid world, then how do you currently, or how do you plan to train mentees, or they are your aspiring entrepreneurs as well? So what is your take on that?
Very, very difficult. I've been with TIE now for over a decade. I joined TIE in 2010, and I joined TIE because of this central theme that we as successful entrepreneurs want to give back to the aspiring entrepreneurs and build personal relationships with mentees and help them to start their companies, not with the primary interest to make money, but with the primary interest to help these young people to succeed. And this, of course, building these trustful relationships has become extremely difficult during this digital age, right? The 2 of us, we've been together in Chandigarh and in Heidelberg, and we know each other very well. So it's a very personal, trustful relationship. Yeah. But these young guys who are now just starting their career or starting their company and didn't have this chance of getting these personal interactions, they need to build these networks of trust over video conferences, which I think is extremely difficult. And of course, with my mentees, we have switched completely to a video conference. But I don't think the quality of mentorship can be the same over video conference. And I truly hope that we will find ways to get back to a new normal where personal interactions are happening again. Because otherwise, also my kids, they're now starting to study at university, sitting basically in front of a screen, while we at the time were drinking with people, right, and having fun and having social interactions. And these networks usually last a lifetime. And a network you build over video conference, I cannot imagine how this gets to the same type of quality we have, for example.
True. You talked of personal relationships. We started out when you were here in Chandigarh. You had a lovely section and interaction with the audience at that time, all Thai audience. I know we drove down or up to Timber Trail. And likewise, when I was there in Hanover and Frankfurt, and I've been to Hanover for a few years already, when I came and met you in Frankfurt, not knowing that there is such a colorful city like Heidelberg in Germany. You won't believe me. There must be about 100 people at least who've gone to Germany, and I've told them to go to Heidelberg. it's a fantastic place. But when you talk of personal relationships, now we come to the point, and you said there's a lot of value. So value of personal relationships versus value of virtual meetings. Is there the same passion, the same excitement, the same memories, the same link? I don't know. In the last 1 year, I mean, I have made notes over virtual meetings, but those notes are purely business, purely work oriented. I can't relate to them, relate a person to them. So you are into the thick of it, not only for your students, I would say, or mentees, but you are a member of so many associations. You have been past president of TIE Brussels, number of health and pharma and biological associations. I mean, you built hundreds of relationships, I would say, So how do you value personal interactions versus, virtual interactions or virtual relationships?
A very, very difficult question, Hashwin. My personal opinion is that there is a lot of value in the digital conversation as well, right? One of them being that without having to jump on a plane, you can be with thousands of people at a big event very quickly. You don't have the travel expenses, you don't have the hassle, the time you lose during travel. If you call it losing time, I personally, I love traveling, so for me it's not a lost time, but for many people, this in and out is very annoying. And of course, this means we can reach many more people with our messages, but it's not as personal as an individual meeting. So this means, I think, especially within TIE and network organizations where you have this mentor-mentee relationship, I think we need to work very hard to find a hybrid format where we make use of these advantages of digital conversations, but where we put even more effort in overcoming the hurdles to have personal meetings, like we did during the bootcamp last week at Biomedx. The effort to do such a hybrid bootcamp and flying in people during a pandemic is about 3 times as much as the normal effort. But it was worth every minute and every dollar to invest. And this is something we should think about, that we reallocate our resources and the money we actually save because of synergies and synergistic effects of the virtual platforms, that we use this money and invest more into enabling personal relationships by really making sure the important events where you need personal relationships, you take the effort and fly someone in with all the hassle of testing, of masks, whatever you need to make sure that you can sit over dinner and discuss, because otherwise there's no way of building a solid, trustful relationship. That's my opinion.
Christian, I know when we met first time, you were heading a different kind of organization, pretty much doing something same called BioRN, right? Mm-hmm. So how is Biomedx different from BioRN?
That's a very good question. So at BioRN, I was the basis for BioRN was that we won a very big national grant of the German Federal Ministry for Education and Research. So this ministry tried to identify the 5 strongest high-tech regions in Germany that could be developed to the next level, to the European League or to the World League, let's put it that way. So putting the main innovation hubs of Germany on the global map of the top talents. That was the idea. And there was quite a substantial grant. So we won a 40 million euro grant from the German government, plus another 40 million from local industry partners. And so I managed this 80 million euros public-private research and development fund. And the goal was to bring together academia and industry as a regional development effort. So it was a government-like organization that tried to create collaboration, create jobs, attract top talents, these kinds of things. In Biomedx is a little different because this previous company I didn't own. I run it basically for the local association, which was all local players of our local community. Biomedx is my first company I started where there's no external investor. So I'm the owner. There's no venture capital, no public money, and this is, for me, this is something I've worked a lot over 2 decades with venture capital funded startups, and I decided for myself I'm too old to deal with venture capitalists, and I want to make my own decisions. So, and this is why I started BioMedX the way I started. But the general concept is the same. We attract top talent from around the world. We move them with their families to Heidelberg, and then they live and work in my institute. And if they're very successful, they get to the next career step, and we grow a global family of outstanding researchers. So far, we have signed 260 employment agreements. So it's very high turnover, lots of talents now sitting in positions in pharma companies and also in academia that went through our institute.
Fantastic. So many years for BioRN and for last 5 or 6 years in BioMedX,
Yes.
So people know you and you know where exactly to tap the right people, especially for your mentees in your institute. But for us sitting in India, especially the startups who started maybe a year or two earlier, what do they do? Even before they've started, how do you suggest to them? How do they go out in the virtual world? How do they build networks? You've been in TiE. I know Ashok has been one of your mentors.
Yes,
and there are so many people.
Still is.
Yeah,
still very close contact, and I'm missing him and his wife Sheila. I'm missing so much because I couldn't visit them for a year now. Usually, I was there 3-4 times at his house, and he was at my house a couple of times a year. And this, this has all stopped. We are now doing virtual wine tasting over the screen, right? So because there's no other choice. Yes, but please, sorry, I interrupted you.
No. So so that strong personal relationship you built because that was physical contact.
Yes.
Now here, what do you suggest to the startups or to young companies who in India it's always tea diplomacy or wine or whiskey or dinner. So people haven't known anything else. Yeah. So in digital world, what are the top 2 tips you say you should do, and what is one thing you shouldn't do in the digital world? Can you suggest that?
Very good point. So number 1 for a young aspiring entrepreneur is find mentors who have done this before successfully, and who can avoid that you make all the same mistakes all over again, right? So this is, it's good to learn from your mistakes, but it's even better to learn from other people's mistakes. And that's why young people need mentors. And also from an economic perspective, my first startup, I didn't have a mentor. And I ran again, I hit a wall after 2 years, and I learned a lot. But this cost a loss of 2.5 million of venture capital, which was basically wasted. If someone would have told me before, I would have basically maybe learned the same thing, but with a little less waste of money. So it's very important to have this mentorship. And I think in this digital age, I'm seeing many young people who think they can build networks the same way digitally with more people. I don't think so. I think you need to, as a young person, you need to invest a lot more into getting into physical contact with suitable mentors that can help you, and then sit together and drink with them and eat with them and learn from them. And this means that you need to approach them properly. And if you look at platforms like LinkedIn, where we all connected more or less, or at networks like TiE, there's never a situation, at least I have not seen a situation within TiE where a young entrepreneur, after a conference, for example, wrote an email to a very successful entrepreneur who is a charter member of TiE, and asking a question whether they could have a short conversation and get feedback about their business plan, and then the senior entrepreneur saying, no, I'm not going to talk to you, right? This is not happening, right? And this is why these young people need to be a little more, have a little more tenacity, and think about how, with a very personal, nicely drafted letter over LinkedIn or over email, they can convince a senior entrepreneur they would like to talk to and learn from to have a 15 or a minute or 30-minute conversation about their business idea. And then if there is chemistry, maybe there is a mutual relationship that builds. And the next step, of course, is a personal meeting that the mentee either flies to the mentor, or if this is too expensive, you decide at which conference you're going to meet because you're there anyway.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we have these physical interactions. I would really avoid. You said one thing I would say you should avoid is, at the moment, you need to keep in mind that many, especially of the senior people with very short attention span, and most of them are these successful entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, they are getting the I call it Zoom fatigue, very quicker than the young people. And you know, I'm also getting old now, and I personally I cannot participate in 5 conferences, virtual conferences per day. So something like this, which you know is very close to my heart, I do this once a quarter maybe, or once a half year. But I'm not accepting all the invites every day. I'm getting to be at a virtual big event. And this is why it's very dangerous for these young people to think that the more of these virtual events you visit, the more knowledge you will get and the bigger your network will be. So I think people need to be much more selective and keep in mind that the good people or successful people get this Zoom fatigue and will probably not be present at such a meeting. So you need to find other ways how to approach them, right?
Yeah. One, question. I've been visiting Europe for last 14 years, but traditionally, because of the choice or lack of choice of language, anybody who's starting out for overseas market, it's always North America, UK, or Australia.
Yep.
So what is your tip? What to do if you have to enter Europe? Is learning a new language like German, Italian, French, or Dutch is mandatory, or yeah? So what is it? Any one single suggestion which will make you click in Europe?
Well, let me put it that way. Every talent, every company, every customer can today freely choose where he or she wants to live, pursue a career, purchase goods, or collaborate in the world. It's a free world. Everyone, I mean, talent is distributed evenly, but interestingly, opportunity is not. And in order to, and what happens is that talents, customers, investors tend to go towards the physical locations on the map where they can, where they have most opportunities. And this is why Silicon Valley is so successful. And other places also, like Boston, also in Europe, there's a couple of places. And this means these places are already adapting very fast, especially when it comes to language and welcoming people from other cultures. And there is this, it's not distributed evenly. So people don't come to Germany, or they come to France, or they come to UK, they come to a city, right? A particular city. And then you should go to the city when you want to expand your business, go to the city where you don't have to learn the local language. And there is some of those. Heidelberg, for example, is very international. You can speak English at the restaurant, in the shop. There's international schools for children teaching in English. And there will be the cities that can adapt. They will attract all the customers, the talent, and the VC in the world. And there will be the cities that cannot adapt, and they will lose, right? Because if you're not on the top 10 list of the top talents of this world, where they want to pursue a career in the future, you will lose, because everybody is free to choose. And this is my personal view of the world. So there's going to be a free flow of talent and outstanding companies and investors, and they're looking for the right spot. So if you want to expand to Europe, look for the places that are welcoming you and that don't demand you to learn the language.
Okay, great. That's very, very important. I, besides, of course, congratulating you for your birthday gift that you bought for yourself, which was a brand new Tesla, I need to congratulate you for the award. You've been selected as the Biotechnology CEO of the Year 2020 Europe. It's, for many, it may be just a line. I know it's past 20 years of sweat and blood that goes into this award. Can you tell us something about this and how you got selected?
Well, what the process, this is Business Worldwide magazine, how the process was, I don't know, but what is necessary in order to get approached is 2 things. First of all, you need to get old. Okay, check. And second, is you need to get some sort of visibility in a certain field. And in this case, it was being a CEO, an entrepreneur. And this is for every one of us. Sooner or later, when you have 1 or 2 successes, you become visible. Then people will approach you with prizes. It's also for them, it's for marketing purposes. So this is also supporting their magazine. And I had a very nice interview at the London Stock Exchange. It was very nicely done when they handed over the prize and made videos. This was quite nice. But you know, prizes is one thing, but my focus is creating impact for society, and I rather measure the number of lives I could positively impact during my work. And I've developed a concept, it's called impact level, where everyone can measure where you are in this hierarchy. So it's a very simple concept. So if you have changed in your life, if you have positively impacted the life of 10 people, 10 to the power of 1, then you impact level 1. When you have impacted 100 people's lives positively, 10 to the power of 2, then you are impact level 2. 3 would be 1,000 of people. And then 6, impact level 6 would be 1 million people. And impact level 9 is what we all want, is humanity, right? You want to positively impact humanity. So in that level, you can basically always challenge yourself, which impact level are you? And then figure out how do you get to the next level, right? And that's also what drives me personally.
Christian, you know, we are a little out of time now, but I must say that as always, whenever I have interacted with you, I do take home a couple of new points which remain with me. And we look forward to meeting you personally. Once things open up, I think we are going to have you again with CHAI Chandigarh and have greater interactions with startups, with established companies here, with, you know, just spend time with us and enable us to have a greater impact.
Thank you so much, Harshveer. Thank you for having me, and wishing you a good new day for this wonderful conference. It was a pleasure being part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, and look forward to seeing you.